What's up, y'all? It's Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show on Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Hello and thank you once again for downloading and listening to another episode of the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. My name is Clive and I am joined by my brother in arms, Ricky, brother in microphones, I'll call him. Ricky, how are you tonight, sir?
Doing well. Looking forward to my most enjoyable pay-per-view of the year this coming Sunday.
You sound it?
Well, when I say pay-per-view, I just mean match. The Royal Rumble match. But yeah, other than that, doing alright.
Well, we've got a few things planned. We're going to try and get through quite a lot of the Rumble chat this episode, but we need to declare our Sidgwick Award for this week. Have you got any contenders?
Our Twitter Wanker of the Week. No, I don't. I'll leave that down to you.
Well, there's been quite a few, and to be honest, it's quite hard to pick one at random because there's just been so many people with negative takes in response to WWE's Peacock deal, and some wild ones like Meltzer saying, "I wish WWE had my work ethic."
That's the best one.
Well, Meltzer, I really hope WWE doesn't use your spell checker, pal, or your sentence structures. That's another story. There's voices of wrestling who've tried to make it sound like a $1 billion deal is a failure. Stuff like that. I don't really see them much. I think we blocked them a long time ago. But I'm going for something that's a bit tame, but I think it sums up like the mindset that people have when it comes to WWE doing well. And I'm going for at Josh_Watts09123. It's a Joshua Watson. So this is in response. WWE Public Relations, Peacock TV and WWE today announced a multi-year agreement that gives Peacock exclusive streaming rights to the network in the US. And Josh says Vince McMahon, he atted Vince McMahon as well, actually. Like he put at Vince McMahon, must be desperate. How?
Aren't we all desperate for £1 billion?
Surely desperation would be paying £1 billion for someone else to use your content. But my real Sidgwick Award goes to someone. It's at Ricky and Clive. I'm not sure which half it was, but they said something along the lines of, he'll probably hate me for doing this, but a big shout out to Clive, who is one of my best friends, for it's his birthday today. So, Ricky, you're the Twitter Wanker of the Week, sir.
I think that was someone hacked our account. Sounds like something Caleb would do.
It sounds like something Caleb would do, but it was a nice sentiment anyway, and I'll just pretend that it's you. And to repay the wonderful favour, and since this is since it's releasing on a Wednesday, I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Murray, whose birthday was Tuesday the 26th.
That's it.
Congratulations, Murray, on being
19, 16, 15, 12. She's a child.
He's got young blood. He's still a long way to go. There's plenty of years at the dojo ahead of him.
Maybe I'll be getting him on next week.
Okay.
He's 24. 10 years younger than us.
I know.
Oh, wanker. He's a Twitter wanker of the week.
Not Twitter, just general. So, we touched on the
right.
Peacock deal there.
Yep. personally, I really don't have much to say on the matter, if I'm honest, because it doesn't affect us in the slightest. The only thing, two things I would say is, first of all, fuck you, Vince McMahon. And the reason I say that is we are still paying more than Americans pay.
I know.
They're getting it cheaper.
That's shocking, actually.
And the second thing, I just couldn't care less. Like, you're seeing some takes about the whole, we only had 1.1 million subscribers to it. And people are saying that that's down to just general poor content over the last decade or whatever, however long you want to say it is. I get that side of the argument, I do. Like, I think it's a valid point to an extent as well, but the network isn't just about current stuff. Like, there's so much on there. Like, you want to go back 10, 15, 20 years, like, it is literally the entire library. There's so many great documentaries on it. You know, like that Monday Night War stuff was excellent, and the stuff like we do with WWE 24 thing. The stuff we done with Taker was about 4 episodes long, which was really good as well. So they've got all those different things. So for me personally, like, I don't buy it for the matches. I buy it more so to see some of the behind the scenes stuff like the Taker thing, like some of the podcasts and
the interviews,
the Stone Cold ones. I like those ones. So like I said, overall couldn't care less. And at the end of the day, the guy just is about to make £1 billion. Like, say what you want. And did he? Maybe they thought they would get more subscribers, but at the end of the day, he's laughing and he won.
Mm-hmm.
He being Vince. So that is what it is. And see the same people that are talking about like how it doesn't really matter and they've fleeced someone else into giving them money, blah blah blah. Like, two things from that kind of thing is that it's not pure luck that he's got this money, because like if one or two deals you get done, you can say that's just luck. But there's been consistently he got onto Fox, he got the Saudi deals, he had the stuff, couple of shows down in Australia. Now we got this. Just wait until they get the money from the India market as well. So don't sit and ridicule that and say I couldn't care less, but then ramble on about ratings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like both of them to 99.9% of the people out there means absolutely fucking nothing, because we don't have any kind of financial vested interest in it. So the whole Peacock thing, couldn't care less, because it doesn't bother me, doesn't affect me. And at the end of the day, like, if you're complaining about the content, just stop watching. It baffles me that people genuinely hate watch some of this stuff. It's like, do you not have... Sorry, you go?
It's for their YouTube channels and their What Culture articles.
It's like, do you not have anything better to do for 3 hours during the night on a Monday? I'm going to say Monday because I would say overwhelmingly most of us probably enjoy SmackDown. But or like, rather than sitting watching that, watch some of it the next day, or just pick and choose certain things. I can't remember the last time I sat and watched a full 3 hour episode of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever done it, because not everything on Raw interests me. I would probably count on one hand the amount of things that interest me on Raw. Me on SmackDown, the majority of it interests me. So, fuck man, that's what it is. Like, he's made £1 billion, well done. Couldn't care less, because it doesn't affect me personally.
Yep.
And nor should it affect any other fan.
I think it will affect them if it ends up that they have to do some sort of changes to their subscription. But for us who are in the UK, this doesn't affect us at all. I don't have to change anything about my subscription. So, as you've alluded to, the grand scheme of things, it doesn't affect me at all. More than happy to keep going with it. I've seen quite a few takes that they have made more money in spite of the quality of their programming. Now, that side of things is subjective, because, okay, a lot of people are hating on Raw these days. There might be people that are still enjoying Raw, watching it. By many accounts, SmackDown is doing wonders the last few months. Like, it's the best it's been in a long, long time, since the glory days of 2016. So those two pay-per-views I thought were really good in 2020. All of them I thought were very decent. So the quality of what WWE produces is subjective. Not even selling, renting out your network for 5 years for $1 billion is objectively a massive success. Not even selling it, they've rented it out. The price could go higher next time.
Hell, like, if you got half of that, then it's still amazing. Like, so, like, I think you just said something there about the pay-per-view quality. I would say agree with that. Like 2020, I wouldn't say there was all the pay-per-views were like, oh my god, like, I need to go back and watch that. But I don't remember leaving a pay-per-view saying, I got absolutely nothing from that, if you know what I mean. Like, so, I think people need to look at it objectively, look at it rationally, and take either your hatred for WWE or your hatred for Vince or your pro stance for another company and just look at things objectively. Like, too many people are putting hot takes out there, and it's like calm down. You know, like, if they do something good, you are allowed to say, "Oh, that was good." Just if you see some bullshit that's happening in WWE or AEW or Impact or any other promotion, just say it's bullshit. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's fine. Like, I think that's what I feel like I do well. Like, I know there's so much on Raw, even some things on that SmackDown and some things on NXT. I'm like, I've got no time or interest for that. I'm not going to bother with that, and I'll just not care. But the same goes with AEW. But at the same time, if there's stuff I like, I'll be like, no, I enjoyed that. So, you know, whatever. Vince is making money hand over fist, and, well, go do what you want to do.
It's all those memes, gifs that you see of him sniffing money and rubbing his thumb and fingers together. He'll be doing that right now. He's not going to be looking at the tweets online unless he follows Sidgwick.
Folks, stop tagging Vince McMahon in tweets. He doesn't look at Twitter.
It's not even him that... Exactly. You're trying to tell me that Vince works Twitter?
Well, he probably does, actually, because he doesn't have Meltzer's work ethic.
Right.
Anyway.
We're here for the Royal Rumble. The 2021 Royal Rumble is an upcoming professional wrestling pay-per-view and WWE Network event produced by WWE for its Raw and SmackDown brand divisions.
Who's reading the false Wikipedia?
Aye. It will take place on January the 31st at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. It will be the 34th event under the Royal Rumble chronology and will feature WWE's virtual fan viewing experience called Thunderdome. Got a nice picture here, looks like a comic book front cover. Artistic design, you've got lots of panels with Roman Reigns. Is that Jeff Hardy? Kofi, Randy, AJ, Keith Lee. It's all very beautiful. You may be wondering why I'm just copying, saying out loud verbatim why I'm on Wikipedia. It's because I have to hold my hand up. I've not watched a lot of the main roster for a long time. I'm in the know. I know what's going on. I check results, I check Twitter, I check YouTube now and again. But I can't give you in-depth analysis of the 3 hours because, unlike some, I don't want to watch it just to be negative about it the whole time.
Because we've got better stuff to do.
I know. Exactly.
Like sleep, and then wake up and go to work, and come home, spend time with the family, and then we'll sit and watch whatever bits we like, because that's just not a normal thing to do.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, so we're getting Asuka and Charlotte versus Nia Jax and Shayna. We're getting obviously both Rumble matches, Roman versus KO and Drew versus Goldberg.
Yep.
You know what my issue is? That we're now, I might be wrong in this, but we are, like, as of recording right now, we're 5 days away from it, and that's probably not even a full card. Like, that bothers me a lot.
Aye, for a big 4 pay-per-view.
Just for a pay-per-view in general. Any paper, I find that really bothers me. It's like, you've had weeks to build up to it. There's zero need to announce stuff on Twitter, on the pre-show, or on the Talking Raw, Talking Smack, or whatever shows. It's just like, there's just no need for that this close to the pay-per-view. Like, have the pay-per-view set and have this final week as like your last little promos for it, segments, whatnot. So I find that frustrating. I would like to leave, if you want, both Rumble matches to discuss them last.
That's fine with me, yep.
I expect Asuka and Charlotte to lose the titles. I think Lacey Evans or Ric Flair somehow get involved and something happens there. Oh, and look, I've got no interest in seeing Ric Flair or Lacey Evans and Charlotte in this, whatever they're doing. I love Charlotte. What bothers me, though, is that ever since her return, Asuka seems to have just completely taken a back seat. I know she's been involved in some of this Alexa Bliss stuff. Alexa Bliss stuff is just, I have no interest in it whatsoever. None. But that bothers me. But I expect Nia Jax and Shayna to retain. While we're speaking, now I've mentioned Alexa Bliss, Cedric mentioned that if you watched her singing, sitting on a swing, you're a nonce. And then basically, I came across one of his tweets again earlier on, and he was talking about, because I read his article about WWE, because it was shared in our group. He mentioned basically, I don't know if it was a rocking horse moment or whatever, and he goes, yeah, well, you know what you are if you watch this kind of stuff. I'm just kind of paraphrasing. I'm like, mate, you must have watched it to tweet it or to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that make you then?
Of course he does, because he does his Woke Culture podcasts.
So, yeah, I don't listen to that shit. So, yeah. Like, my excitement is, for the pay-per-view in general, is always going to be high purely for the Royal Rumble matches. I'm looking forward to Roman and KO.
Yes.
But at the same time, my excitement is slightly tempered due to the other world title match. Because I still have the absolute fear that Goldberg's going to win it. And I read your article.
Right.
Couple of things in it that I agreed with. I agree that Drew having the name Goldberg as one of the people he's beaten for like a name brand thing. I get that. Like, I understand it. Like, you know, I'm not I know that much of a hater to think that Goldberg doesn't mean anything, like reputation wise in his name. I understand what that means. What my issue, not so much issue, but the thing that I would raise from your article was, I'm just trying to find your exact quote, if I can.
Which listeners you can find under the brand extension umbrella in WrestlingHeadlines.com, formerly Lords of Pain. Get the views in. I don't know if I'll get paid at some point. If don't, then don't bother reading it.
Or maybe something you says to me. Maybe I can't remember.
Was it something Rance maybe said when he was on a few weeks ago?
Oh, sure, actually no. Yeah, I think you basically say something along the lines that, like, in fact, you'd said it to me personally, I think you did, that you're not entirely convinced that Goldberg's going to win anyway.
Yes.
So you're not that worried. I'm paraphrasing. I would counter that with the last 2 years, or maybe even 3. It would be 3 actually. Is it 3? Because he's beaten KO, then he beat The Fiend.
Yeah, he beat Ziggler, but that wasn't for a title or anything.
So I would say to that, the last couple of years have shown us otherwise. So I don't even want Goldberg to win and then Miz cashes in. I don't want that at all. I want Drew walking out of there with the title. I just can't understand for whatever reason why you'd put the title on Goldberg. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, it might be a ratings pop, or we might get people subscribing to the network. Well, my argument to that then becomes, they give out the subscription this time of year for free for like a month or a few months. So you're not even going to make any money off it. Mm-hmm. People will subscribe to it because you're giving it out for free and then unsubscribe when they need to pay. Like I say, it's a genuine fear and worry that they're going to take the title off Drew. And I made a point of watching the opening segment, which was only like a few minutes long on Raw. And as soon as Drew came out, first thing that came into my mind was like, A, that entrance is awesome. B, he is built. His physique is unreal. And then C, Goldberg profusely sweating from just walking down and doing one spear. I'm like, this match is going to last maybe 8 minutes, and that includes the entrances. I'm just like, I'm not here for that at all.
There is when you think about it, there is a worry that it's all over so quickly.
There's a real worry.
Anything can happen in those 5 minutes.
I just don't expect Drew to walk away with the title.
I'm actually concerned about something else going forward in case there's some sort of feckery that it gets involved later on. But
some sort of what, sorry?
Fuckery. Shenanigans.
In what sense?
I don't know how it would work, and it might be something that happens in the next couple of months, but Edge has made his announcement that he'll be back.
I have an issue with that. We'll talk about the Rumble match as well, actually.
Right, we'll keep that for later then. But I'm wondering, is Edge, is it Fastlane or Chamber? Will Edge somehow win the Rumble and then Randy Orton wins the title just so we can get the title match between Randy Orton and Edge at Mania? Is that worth it? Because yes, he's looking in fabulous shape for whatever age Edge is, but his second match back and he blew his arm. Is he that reliable anymore? Not even thinking about the arm, just thinking about general wear and tear of the fella.
Mm-hmm. We'll touch on that.
Aye.
The Rumble match. That's a good point. I said I wanted to talk about the Edge thing as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I said my only interest in, there's two points of interest in the match, because it's Drew. Loved Drew's stuff for this last 18 months, and also there's just that genuine fear. I probably will. I think I normally watch, like everyone else, you watch it from start to finish. I won't watch it live. I think I'm going to skip to this match first and foremost.
I get it out of your system. Get
it out the way, and just see what happens. Because I think my plan's probably going to be on the Monday. I'm probably going to be looking. Once we get done with the homeschooling, I think I'll sit down with my eldest, because he's looking forward to the Royal Rumble match.
Good
I explained to him what it is. I've not shown him it. I says, no, I want you to watch it on Sunday. It'll be your first one. So he's looking forward to that. So I'm going to sit down with him, just the two of us. This is the first time I'm going to sit down and properly watch a pay-per-view together, rather than just like individual matches. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll sit down this Monday afternoon and watch it together. And like I said last week, moving forward, that's the only thing that would keep me interested or keep me watching or keep myself up to date, would be for him. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of going back on what I said a few weeks ago, but I even try to tell him that I'm not going to watch wrestling if Goldberg wins, and he goes, why? And he goes, well, if I want to watch it, and I'll be like, well, I'll watch it with you, but we don't want Goldberg to win. He's like, no, we don't, we like Drew. So
breaking your son's heart.
Please, Vince, do not do it. I'm begging you. I might just tweet Vince right now, actually.
What you should do is, I know your son's not got a phone, but if Goldberg wins, just send him a gif of that young boy with a single tear streaming down his cheek, and he'll know what's wrong with you.
He actually does. He's 6, right, and he does have a phone. But I say, quote unquote, a phone, right? He's got one of these old, like properly old, Nokia Nokia like flip phone right thing, but he doesn't have any money in it. Can't do anything with it. He just walks about and takes like photos on his like horrendously bad camera, right? And he always complains that no one phones him anymore. So he'll make me phone him even though we're sitting in separate rooms, for instance, and he'll still want to phone so he can speak to someone on the phone. But then he forgets he's got a phone and he says no one phones me anymore. Is that because you've not put your phone in charge in about 3 weeks and it's out of battery? So it just kind of sits there, and if someone wants to phone him, he'll run and go answer it.
I'll give him a phone and tell him that Goldberg sucks if you want.
Goldberg does suck.
See, this is getting a bit unfair of what I'm going to say about Goldberg's wins, and I don't know if Undertaker upsets this theory, but the Goldberg's matches, when they count, the victories have come against those that are not exactly in the best of shape. But
other than Brock.
Braun.
I'm saying other than Brock.
Yeah, but Brock came back and annihilated him. And then Braun Strowman kind of annihilated him as well. So my hope is that this sort of prejudiced theory of mine means that the absolute specimen that is Drew McIntyre will be no match at all for him.
Yeah, no, just.
I mean, the Roman Reigns Kevin Owens one speaks for itself. They have always had really good matches. They had a really good match at the Royal Rumble 2017, and a Shark Tank match of all things, and they still made it work. So I've got no qualms at all. But I think the Rumble undercard just seems to be lacking this year for me. And that's a shame, because one of my favourite things about the Royal Rumble pay-per-view isn't the Rumble itself, but the undercard. Yep. All the classic matches that you've got over the years. No,
I agree with that sentiment completely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me, just randomly then, what some of your favourite Rumble matches, just like right off the top of your head. I think, I know you're going to mention that triple threat match, Seth Brock and John Cena a few years back.
Right, well, I'll take that out of the equation then, since you've talked about it.
Well, that could certainly be one of them.
Right. Well, first five off the top of my head. The tables match with the Hardys and the Dudleys.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You talk about the ladder match at No Mercy 99 setting a precedent. Well, by gum, so did this one.
Yep.
Obviously, there's a street fight after it, but I preferred Cactus Jack and Triple H in the cell, and I preferred the tables match on that night. Benoit and Jericho's ladder match.
For the Intercontinental, wasn't it?
Yep, Walls of Jericho on top of the ladder. I don't know if you remember it. It doesn't get talked about that much, but Benoit versus Kurt Angle at Royal Rumble 03.
03 for the title?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Like, Benoit wrestled his heart out. The most longest diving headbutt I've ever seen.
That was horrendous.
And then he got a standing ovation after it. How bad does that look now? More recently, I'm thinking of like, say, Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey. A right good grapple. But I think my favourite out of them all has been Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose 2016 Last Man Standing match. The
thing I loved about that match, is how well they both sold it going into the Rumble match. Kevin Owens literally was dragging himself along the floor trying to come into that match.
Mm-hmm. Just such a good rivalry. Few months, despised each other, like they wrestled as if they wanted to kill each other. Stunts, spots, shouting that they hate each other. Just marvellous work for the pair of them.
I probably agree with just about all of them. I'm surprised you missed out Cena and AJ from 2017.
Nah, not for me.
Oh, really?
No. Obviously, there's the Triple Threat 2015 as well.
Yep.
Lest we forget.
Bret Hart had a match with Diesel in either was it 94 or was it I think it was 95 actually, which was really, really good. John Cena and Umaga. Shout out to the one we know. I had one in 07, I think.
Yes.
So no, there was a few. There's, like I say, there's always been at least a couple, generally, like certainly one really, really standout match out with the Rumble matches.
I bet Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that was another really good one actually. That was a really, really good one. So no, like I say, I'm still looking forward to Roman and KO. I know we've saw it a few times, but Last Man Standing, it'll be interesting. My issue with Roman right now is Jey Uso's getting far too involved now for my liking.
In what way?
Helping Roman out during his matches. It started at Survivor Series. I was relatively okay because it's champion versus champion, and I can get how you don't want one to go over clean or get a victory clean. So I got it. Drew was in the victory. Jey Uso comes down, gets involved, and Roman chokes out Drew. Even a cage match in the first KO match, like, I don't want him there. You know, like, I love Kevin Owens. I absolutely love him. I can't wait until he gets a title again. But I need a definitive Roman Reigns win on his own again. Like, he'll never be like your classic chicken shit heel, because his demeanour and aura won't allow that, and his promos and the way he comes across and stuff, and just how aggressive he wrestles. They don't need
that. They don't need the chicken shit heel stuff.
No, but it's borderline there, where he's reliant now on help, and I don't really like that. I want him to get, he needs for me that proper fucking someone up win. And if it needs to be KO, it needs to be KO. But like, I just mean even that last couple of minutes where Roman just beats the living shit out of him and does it on his own. I just hope Jey Uso doesn't get involved. And I know he's going to get involved. I just hope they don't.
It's disappointing. It's actually, I thought, an opinion I hadn't heard before or thought about. But you're right in saying that he presents himself and wrestles in a way that he doesn't need to be the chicken shit heel. And he destroyed Jey Uso twice. So, like, he shouldn't need that.
And I hope that's the route they don't go. I hope they don't go down that route.
Hopefully this is although it's at Kevin Owens' expense, hopefully this is a beat them clean, super duper brutality to sort of reinvigorate Roman's head of the table stuff.
Yep.
It's a good point.
That's it. That's the only match he announced. I'm assuming we might get Big E and Sammy in a rematch. But as far as I know, I think that's all the matches that have been announced so far.
Well,
so I'm happy to move on to the women's.
Right. Well, this is actually.
Oh, sorry. I think Sasha might be facing Carmella. I can't remember now.
Here,
it might be. Is this going to be a SmackDown or is it going to be in Royal Rumble? I can't remember. They had that match on SmackDown like 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever it was, and that was a really, really, really good match actually. Sasha pulled an absolute great match out of Carmella that night.
The TLC match was amazing as well. Not a TLC match, but a match at TLC.
We're seeing the absolute very best of Sasha this last sort of 7 or 8 months.
Yes,
and it's awesome to see.
It's very welcome.
We've gave her grief, and rightfully so. But when she's at her absolute best, she's virtually untouchable.
Mm-hmm. It's very welcome to see the boss back, basically.
Yep.
My issue with the Women's Rumble, and in fact it's both women and men, and not so much an issue, but it's a possible issue going forward with numbers for the women. There was no NXT involvement at Survivor Series, is that correct?
Yeah, so this year it was just for SmackDown.
Aye.
For last year.
And there's been talk, I think Kyle was saying on Outsider's Edge last week, I haven't seen this actually being properly confirmed, but there's talk of keeping the main roster and NXT guys separate to try and keep down the COVID numbers. So if that's the case, and they're still doing that, because we've had, look at the likes of Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, Rhea Ripley, the Undisputed Era, they've all had ample opportunity to be considered a call-up since their stories and arcs have all kind of finished on NXT, but they've stayed put so far. So if that's the case and they're keeping them separate still, then you might be looking at a 20-woman Royal Rumble. Can you think of 30 fit, healthy women outside of the tag team championship match?
I'm sure that because they'll have some former women coming back.
That's true. It doesn't matter about NXT. It doesn't matter about the legends. Let them get infected, but keep the NXT safe.
I still think we will see a few NXT. We always do. We have done for a few years now. That's
true. It's just a concern that it might not have the pops for the NXT marks among us, you know?
No, I know. Looking forward to it. Like, I've not been disappointed by any of the women's Rumbles matches so far.
No.
I think the first one was by far the better, the best one we saw from the women. Last year's was fine. Like, I wasn't blown away by it. But it's a Rumble match. I'm looking forward to it. I think a couple of women will have a real strong showing.
Right, so far...
Sorry?
So far, we've got Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Bayley, interesting, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, Riot Squad and Tamina announced.
We better have Billie Kay in there.
Listen, I've been telling you folks about Billie Kay for a long time. And she's doing it on her own now, kind of.
I'm trying to think. I expect to see Rhea Ripley in it, if I'm honest. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Candice or someone makes an appearance as well.
Okay.
But definitely Rhea Ripley's there. And I think Rhea Ripley's probably going to be one of the last four, I think.
It's a good shout.
You named my pick quite early on.
Bianca Belair.
Correct.
Has she been doing well for herself on SmackDown?
She's fucking tremendous.
Good. That's good.
She everything about her is just unbelievable. Give me Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. That match will be fucking awesome. Like, awesome. B, two black women.
Yep.
Like, that sends such a massive statement out there. And please don't do it just because they're black women. Like, do it because they deserve it. Because both of them are amazing. But that sends such a powerful message. And it's just like I said before, when I refer to the Hurt Business, it's black excellence. And the fact that it's two black women as well, who are just unbelievably talented. I would love to see that at WrestleMania. I absolutely love that. Hell, if you want to go one step further, put them on. Let them, if it's going to be 2 nights, I don't think it'll be 2 nights actually.
I think it is.
Is it? Well, let them main event one of the nights. I'd be on board with that. That's my pick.
I would be all for that. And I know we're supposed to have differing content and stuff, but Bianca Belair's my pick as well. Purely because, like we were saying earlier, we are seeing the best Sasha Banks we've seen in many a year, and she just drips attitude, she drips charisma, and just cool, commands the audience. But I think Bianca Belair, when she's on that mic, she can destroy folk. She's got the attitude, she's got the charisma, and she can command the audience. They'll have promo battles that will shame some of the other wrestlers on there, shame loads of other companies. They'll go to town on each other in those promos. They can wrestle very well together. Oh, that's a tasty number, I have to say.
I think what you'll probably get is almost Charlotte versus Sasha. Like, it'll kind of be similar to that, where Bianca can work from the top and Sasha can work from the bottom just because of the physical size of each other. Just in that sense, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely go Bianca. That's my pick. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they've done Charlotte again.
I wouldn't be surprised if Nia Jax won it.
See, that's just a horrific call. That would be abysmal. Like, no. You got to be able to wrestle.
She didn't help herself at all in Raw this week, I have to say. That was a very dodgy looking chokeslam.
It's funny, right? I think it was either Josh. I think it was Josh that says it. The bump itself wasn't that bad. It was just one of those things, like, it was wrestling, it kind of happened, so, you know, but because it was Nia, she's ran out of her, like, is it good graces, like, you know, like, people were like, oh, it's fine, but so many things have happened in the past, people are just going to be like, nope, there's another example, when sometimes it's not going to be that bad.
The bump itself I don't think was bad, because if you remember correctly, Dana Brooke flat back bumped onto the kitchen floor of Titan Towers in that Money in the Bank match, and that looked like the sorest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just total cranium smasher. But it's the lead up, it's the fact that Nia Jax never looked to have Dana Brooke comfortably held or securely held. So I think
because she can't be trusted in the ring.
I think the chokeslam, the very tight bump, was lucky. It was lucky that it ended like that. Because that could have been disastrous. That's twice Dana Brooks nearly had her neck broken, actually. Remember Ronda Rousey did her finisher.
Yep.
Oh, and it looked so dodgy. Oh dear.
Since you mentioned her, she's not coming back on Sunday. I'm just trying to think if we're going to get any returns from the women. The only one I can think of that has been away would be Lana.
Aye.
I also don't think this is Becky Lynch either.
No, she's putting up pictures on Instagram of the young one. She won't
I
be
just
coming
can't
back.
think if there's anyone else there.
I think Lana's a good shout, because I spoke a couple of weeks ago about how flat that whole Nia Jax thing fell. Nia Jax is in the Rumble.
Lana comes out and puts her out.
Aye. But then someone puts her out, like, instantly. And then Nia Jax puts her through her table. Okay, right.
No, that was probably going to happen, actually. Nia Jax throws her out the Rumble and then puts her through a table.
And then we finally get a 2 out of 3 tables match on Raw. I'd watch that. So, right, out of the people we've got Tamina, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss, Peyton Royce, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Bayley, Belair, Flair and Jax. Right.
Oh my god, Alexa Bliss is going to win it, isn't she? I don't overly hate Alexa Bliss. I just don't like what's happening here. I kind of liked her tag team with Nikki Cross.
Oh, I loved her tag team with Nikki Cross.
So, I don't hate Alexa Bliss. I just don't want to see her win here. Like, you know, I'm supposed to believe Asuka's running about terrified the way she is. Fucking Asuka, she's a killer. Not a chance.
Asuka was the first winner. Becky Lynch was the second, and Charlotte Flair. So you've got ABC there. So if we're going with that rule, then it's going to be someone with D. So it's going to be Dana Brooke that wins.
No, for real. Who's your final 4?
Oh, right, okay. Bianca Belair, Bayley,
Charlotte.
I think there's an early. Yep, Charlotte. She's probably going to win it. Oh, can you imagine the tears?
I will have tears. Like, I love Charlotte, but I don't want to see that again.
Oh, I do. I've got myself geared up for an Asuka Charlotte Uber rivalry that lasts about 10 years. See, either that or I think Charlotte gets papped early doors. Like, early doors.
I think it's more believable that she wins it than she gets papped out early. I think it's more believable that she, there's not a chance that she's getting eliminated early.
Okay. Who did I say then? Charlotte, Bianca, Alexa Bliss,
and Bayley.
Bayley, yeah. I'll go for them. I can see Ruby Riott doing well for herself. I think Ruby Riott will have a marathon, an Iron Woman session, but she'll get papped quite late towards the end.
Who was that, sorry?
Ruby Riott.
Right.
That's my pick for someone who people will start saying she's been underused and it's an injustice that she's never won a title or something because she has a good 40 minutes in the Rumble. Because she's able to sit in a corner and be unseen for half an hour. Sorry, that's me just with my Royal Rumble pet peeves. Never mind.
Is Asuka announced for it?
Apparently all the people involved in the Raw tag team. No, Asuka isn't. Sorry.
I was going to say, so she'll come in, if she wins it, then she'll need to challenge Sasha or Io Shirai.
Aye, Asuka won't go in it.
That's the other thing. I hope they, like, I liked that Charlotte went down and challenged Rhea Ripley in NXT. I liked that. I liked it was different. I obviously didn't like it that she won it. I'm going Bianca, Bayley, Charlotte, and I just have a feeling that Alexa Bliss is going to have a strong showing.
It's the same four as mine.
I don't know if she'll make the final four.
Aye, there's something will happen in that. Alexa will get some sort of big spotlight on her in this match.
She will, and I wouldn't be surprised if Nikki confronts her, and she turns from the Fiend Alexa into normal Alexa, and she's like, no, please, Nikki, don't do it, and then she turns back to it, and maybe hoping Nikki eliminates her or something. I don't know.
Or Alexa will come down, and then she gets taken out early. Then Sister Abigail comes down.
Rhea Ripley, that's my fourth.
Okay. I'm just dubious about NXT people coming in. Not dubious opinion-wise, just dubious prediction-wise.
I'm also kind of dubious that I believe Bianca Belair will actually win it. I just, that's what I really want to happen. I just don't think it will.
Now and again, though, I mean, look at Drew. There's always someone who they're sort of, they've, whether subconsciously or not, trained you to believe will win and want to win. It does happen with the Rumble more than you think. So I think maybe a wee cheeky Bianca Belair win is on the cards.
I hope so.
And it's probably going to be a SmackDown win as well.
Why do you say that?
Because it's been Raw the last 3 times. Asuka, Becky, Charlotte, they were all on Raw.
See, I don't think that would bother them.
Maybe not.
I still believe Raw's the A show. That's the mindset they've still got, it seems like.
That leads me to believe that the men's Rumble will be a SmackDown winner as well, because last year was Drew who was on Raw. Because you think about it, like, if you have if you have like the same brand winning every year, then you've got the other brand who's always got the number one contender match at the next pay-per-view. And that's the same story that's going on in that brand all the time. So it makes sense to change things up a wee bit.
No, I agree. I'd like them to change it up a little bit, but before, obviously, that leads us to the men's.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into that, two things, and I get it's, you know, it's our own fault in a sense because we're on social media. I get why you're announcing Edge, because you kind of want to pop like the buy rate, or you want people to subscribe to it and tune in. I get it, but like, you know, you can also keep it a surprise. And in the fact that they're revealing the number 30 entrant on this Talking Smack or Talking Raw on FS1 on Saturday, and Renee Young's coming back for that, which is going to be pretty cool. It's like, can you not just keep that a surprise?
Aye, that's a disappointing one. Is it for both Rumbles?
I'm not sure. And even, I get we can just stay off Twitter and stuff like that, and that's fine. We will need to. But it's like, you know, why do you want people to tune in to watch that? You know, like, the Royal Rumble is like an element of surprise, who's coming, when, who's coming, etc. I just don't like that. But I get we can control that narrative and not go onto Twitter and stuff. But no doubt at some point you're probably going to forget and you end up stumbling across it. And I get that's our own fault, but you just don't need to do that. You really don't.
I've got Google News telling me random stuff about wrestling these days. Because they hear me talk about it, probably.
No, that's it. And Facebook creeping into your conversations as well.
Oh, aye, definitely.
Right, so the men. I'll ask you this. Do you think Brock Lesnar will come back?
Yes. It flies in the face of my SmackDown winner theory, but listen, I'm going to say something that's going to shock the socks off you, and you don't even wear socks. It's going to shock the top layer of skin off your feet. You ready?
Yep.
I want Brock Lesnar to come back at number 30 and win, and I want him to face Drew McIntyre at Mania.
Well, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Why's that?
It's not going to come back at 30 because I don't think they would announce that. I don't think they would announce Brock at 30, which I believe
yes, of course.
30.
Of course, I forgot about that.
Yep, I believe number 30 is going to be just some whatever, you know.
Kalisto.
Something stupid probably. So not even someone that, not even going to say someone you don't care about, but it's not going to be anyone that you're going to be like, oh, they've ruined that surprise for me, if you know what I mean. I don't know if he comes back. And if he comes back, does he come back on his own? I would be intrigued by that without having Paul Heyman by his side. I'm no interested in seeing Brock with the title unless Brock coming back, and he's not coming back full time. The great thing about the Drew thing is that not only was he on Raw every single week, but we got some title defences on Raw as well, which I absolutely love. I love a TV title.
Preaching to the choir here.
Yep, and I love a random TV title match, TV title change. I don't believe this where people turn around and say stuff like, "Oh my God, they've given that away for free." Well, they want to shock you. They want to make it out like, well, this is why you should tune in. But I'm not going to fucking tune in because your product's terrible at times to watch certain bits of it. But, you know, I understand it why you would do such a thing. Like, tune in because you've missed it. Like, if you paid attention to it, like, you wouldn't miss it. So I get that part, and I love watching it because I love seeing a TV title change. I just don't want Brock to have that title if he's not going to be there all the time.
Okay.
Not especially after we saw this last 10 months from Drew.
Yes, it's been refreshing.
I don't know if he'll come back. Honestly, I really don't.
Probably not.
One guy that will be back is Seth.
Oh yes! I thought he came back in the first episode of the new year.
I don't think I've saw him. Have I just missed it?
You would have known about it.
Oh, man. Nah, Seth's not been back. So...
Oh, that'll be good. Maybe he'll be number 30 then. Like, not someone you'd expect to win in his current guise. He won it 2 years ago. It's enough of a pop to go, oh, the Messiah's coming back. Fantastic. Looking forward to that. That's an acceptable announcement. I don't know. I think Edge is back and he'll be sniffing about that title, and it'll go back to him and Randy. And I think that story's not been overused, but it's just not something I'd want to see again. Because
what is this, Edge and Randall?
Because Edge's arm could blow out again, or his Achilles, or his neck, God forbid.
There is unfinished business there, so it does lead you to believe that they're going to have a match at some point again.
And he was injury prone when he was full time as well.
Yep.
I
just don't see him winning it. I can maybe see him and Orton, if Orton's in the Rumble, having like another interaction. But Orton's obviously still got his thing going on with the Fiend. Then again, I can see Orton being in the match and the Fiend, like lights going out and the Fiend suddenly like dragging him out or something.
Oh, the Fiend, man.
No, I know. I love Bray. My son loves the Fiend. I think it's mostly just because he's like a scary monster thing and he loves his entrance music. And more than anything, we stand Bray Wyatt in this house. But we stand cult leader Bray Wyatt, nothing else. I'm just trying to think. If it's going to be a SmackDown winner, I would like it to be someone who's had an issue with Roman.
And that number is piling up.
And I would love it to be Daniel Bryan.
That would be so good. That would be really, really good.
I get that some people don't like what Daniel Bryan's doing right now, but I think he's also all about giving back and putting younger guys over and all that, but I would love to see Roman and Daniel Bryan again.
Right. See this thing about Daniel Bryan, what he's doing just now? He's having the time of his life. You can tell.
No, you can. And this is the thing, like people can say, oh my God, they're treating this individual doing that. But you don't know them personally. They could be content and happy doing it. So people just need to, if that's your opinion, that's all well and good, but you don't know for a fact that he's not signing off on it and he's not happy with doing it. Just like when people talk about, oh my God, they've gone to WWE and that's it, they're screwed. It's a job, remember? You know what I mean? They're getting out and getting the money, the most money they're getting.
He's putting
a dangerous job at that.
He's putting over Cesaro, Nakamura, while shining a spotlight on Gable, who could very well do with a bit of spotlight and probably a bit of damage control with Otis, because it kind of went flat for him towards the end.
It went very flat, and they made a wrong decision putting the money in the bank on him.
They did. But I'm pretty sure, I remember there was comments about Daniel Bryan having a bit of input in the actual overall product of SmackDown during spring and summertime. So I think Daniel Bryan, the yes man, Captain Planet, he's got a bit of sway as to what he does on TV, and I'm pretty sure he's more than happy to goof around with some guys on his side and then put over some other guys that maybe he feels have been undervalued or underutilised. Daniel Bryan's happy as Larry. He's got Wayne's coming delivered by the stork every other day now. He's got a family. He's said himself he's going to be part-time. He's just enjoying his life.
I'd like to see Daniel Bryan.
Oh, I'd still want to see him win the Rumble. That would be fantastic.
I also wouldn't oppose to Seth winning it. There's a story right there. Bring back Seth as a babyface if you want. I think he'll be really accepted. He's been gone for a few months now. I think people would like to see him back, and I think heel Roman and Seth would be quite interesting. you throw in the whole Paul Heyman dimension in there as well. The history he's got with Seth could be interesting.
Yep.
I think we'll get a strong showing from Seth. I think my final four, I'm going to go Seth, probably Daniel Bryan, anyone on the Raw side, I think. It wouldn't shock me if Sheamus is there.
Good point. You've got Jeff, John Morrison, Sheamus.
Keith Lee maybe as well.
Do you know what I enjoyed? Saw a tweet from Mustafa Ali earlier. A lovely number. WWE have announced that Mustafa Ali is in the pool for the Rumble, and he tweeted out a retweet. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
At Kofi's expense.
Aye.
Like, I get that some people don't like. A lot of people don't like Retribution. I think they've completely ballsed it up. I want to see Mustafa Ali pushed to the bloody moon. I think he's just awesome, and I love that little nugget right there.
The wee symbolism.
Kofi Kingston's out, and it's Mustafa Ali's taking a spot. Just like what happened a few years back. Yeah, I like that. I'm just trying to think any kind of like possible other returns or surprise entrance. The Brock one is interesting. I just don't see it.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, he may not want anything to do with WWE just now.
That's it. Seth, like I said, is definitely coming back. We've obviously already announced Edge. Can't think. Any NXT guys coming up? Like I said, I expect one or two certainly to make an appearance. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to this match. I think there's certainly several different interesting things going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with Seth coming, Edge, see how that pans out. Things like to see how well people like Keith Lee do. Brock Lesnar, I think it's always going to be there in the back of people's minds that at some point you expect them probably to return. So, yeah, like I say, overall, I'm excited for this match. But I'm going to go Daniel Bryan, but it really wouldn't shock me if Seth comes back and wins it.
I know they've run this before, but I think a dark horse could be Bobby Lashley. I think he'll go far. And they've got the Hurt Business behind them. The Hurt Business are draped in gold just now. There's no shame in Lashley losing the US title due to some shenanigans at some point on the road. I thought their match was, barring the stuff with Lana at the end, his match with Bobby Lashley was a belter. I think I'd quite like to see Bobby Lashley do well. I put it this way, I would not be disappointed if Lashley won. My money, I don't know where I'd put my money, but I would put my heart in Daniel Bryan.
See, I don't see Bobby Lashley definitely winning it. So, I don't know, man. I really would like to see Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I think Keith Lee is also alongside Sheamus as an outsider. It's interesting that you can still bet on wrestling.
I know that boggles my mind that you can do that.
I'm looking at Sky Bet just now.
Oh, I don't know if I want to hear
Daniel
this.
Bryan. It's interesting, right? They've got Brock Lesnar as a fourth favourite, and as a final four entrant, they've got him 7-4, which is just slightly better than evens.
You're right though, because what would?
But they also have CM Punk at 18-1.
Oh, for God's sake!
John Cena at 25-1. So it's, oh my god, Conor McGregor at 50 to 1. So let's not pay attention to that, eh?
No, let's not.
I'm going Seth. I'm going Seth as my pick.
Make your mind up.
Yeah, I'll go Seth. I just don't see it with Daniel Bryan. I would love to, but I certainly think he's going to be final 4. Wouldn't be surprised if he's in the final 2. But I'm going to go on a limb here. Seth and Daniel Bryan are my final 2. Seth, Daniel Bryan, Keith Lee.
No, I
and
wouldn't.
As an outside bet, I'm going to go Sheamus as my 4th member.
This is a match that's not really happened much in WWE at all. But I'd be up for Seth and Daniel Bryan feet touching the floor at the same time, and they have, or something dodgy happens in their match, and you've got a Seth Rollins Daniel Bryan pay-per-view match to determine the winner, or a wee TV match, because they've not wrestled enough one-on-one in WWE for my liking. And that would be a riveting match.
See, the problem with that is I just don't think they'll go with that kind of dodgy finish.
Probably not.
In that match, because you know how they love it. They love the final shot being the winner looking up and pointing at that damn WrestleMania sign.
Oh, that's so bad. What was I going to say? I want it to be Daniel Bryan, not just so he has the accolade of a Rumble win, but we'll finally see Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I need that in my life.
Yeah, I think an interesting thing moving forward there will be whether they put a title on Daniel Bryan or not, or do they take the title off Roman at that point. That will be interesting.
Well, it's his last full-time run. We don't know how long that run lasts, or if it's been announced. I've not heard it.
No, I know. So, but I'm going to go Seth and Daniel Bryan is my final 2.
Okay. Well,
but just Seth probably won't even return.
And Daniel Bryan will get papped again.
Straight away.
As per.
That one in Philadelphia from Bray Wyatt. That was crazy.
That still gives folk some nightmares, that one.
See, I know we're kind of slightly off topic. Like, I get why they eliminated Daniel Bryan as early as they did. Now, I'm not saying that I get why he never won it. So if they've made the decision that Daniel Bryan won't win it, so their idea probably would be that if we get him out early enough, the boos and the hatred might die down. But they just got... See, that last couple of minutes, my God, that was hard to watch.
It was. Well, speaking of the last 5 minutes being hard stuff, how do you feel about a wee quiz?
Yeah, let's do it.
All about the Royal Rumble. There are roughly 25 points up for grabs tonight.
Interesting.
I thought you'd like that one. Right. Now, they might seem hard when I say them to you first, but have a wee quick think about them and you might be alright with them. Okay, so number 1. Who were the final 4 in the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble?
Asuka.
So you can get, it's like, as I say, there's 25 points up for grabs, so you can get a point for each person correct.
Did one of the part-timers or returning ones make it quite far? Like Mickey or Trish? No, did Sasha not eliminate Trish? Sasha?
Correct.
I think the final 2 was Asuka and Sasha, wasn't it?
It was not.
Okay. I want to say Charlotte. Surely she must have been in it.
So you want...
Charlotte?
No. I'll give you 2 more wrong guesses.
This is the one where Ronda debuted.
After the fact, yep.
It wouldn't have been Becky because she wasn't.
She was a nobody at that point.
That's what I'm saying. That kicked off later on that year. One of the Bellas, definitely.
3.
Actually, both Bellas.
Yes, well done. 4 points out the gate. Impressive start. This is just 1 point. How many title matches has AJ Styles been involved in at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view?
Two.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
The answer is 4.
Jeez.
So
That's just fucking ridiculous. That's every single year he's been there.
So there was John Cena.
Yep.
There was Daniel Bryan. There was a handicap match, Ziggler and not Ziggler, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yep.
And there was the 2016 Rumble match itself, which was for the world title.
So it was.
Right. Not the final 4 for the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble. Another 4-pointer.
2020?
Mm-hmm.
So it was Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell did she eliminate last? Shayna.
Correct.
I was fuming with that.
That was disappointing.
It wasn't Becky because she had the title. I don't even know if Sasha was back at that point.
That was the Ronda Rousey match, Sasha, that year.
2020?
Excuse me, I'm talking absolute mince.
That was 2019.
Correct.
So we got Charlotte, we have Shayna. I genuinely can't remember the other two. Nia Jax.
Nope, 2 more wrong guesses.
Don't think it would have been Bailey. Was it NXT woman? Nah, I've not got a clue.
Are you just giving up on 2 then?
Yep.
The other 2 were Natalya and Beth Phoenix.
So it was.
Question number 4. How many times has the Rumble pay-per-view been in Madison Square Garden?
Five.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's okay.
2.
Alright, okay.
2000 and 2008.
I know, I just assumed there must have been more.
Mm-hmm. Right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
2008 was when Cena returned, wasn't it? That was awesome, that return, actually.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 8 names here. Right?
God.
So there's 8 points up for grabs, and I want you, and I'll include just surnames, okay? I want you to name winners of the Rumble who has their wrestling name as their real name. The look of absolute incredulity on your face right now is brilliant.
Charlotte.
That's not her real name.
A surname or...
I'm including, so if you were just to give me a wrestler whose one name. As also the real life surname. Oh.
Right,
And you get...
Cena?
Yep, that's one. You get 4 wrong guesses.
He must have won it. I can't remember if he's won it now. My mind's gone blank. Surely Orton's won it before.
Yep.
Right.
Orton's won it twice.
I know, I just can't remember the years now. He's never going way back. Right, I'm just going to have to work my way back, if I'm honest.
That's fine.
Male and female.
No female with the correct name has won it. Because Becky Lynch is Rebecca Quinn, isn't it? Well, it's Rebecca Lopez now, probably.
Right, so we got...
Shout out to Seth Rollins.
Right, work your way back. Triple H, you've got... This is just absolutely horrendous.
You forgot one before you worked your way back to Triple H.
No, I'm just naming names.
Right.
At the top of my head, just going through people who have won it. Taker.
Imagine that was his real name.
Oh. Benoit. I can't. Right. I don't think Kurt ever won it.
You've got 3.
Shawn Michaels.
I actually didn't have Benoit on my list. Must have redacted them. But so there's a possible 9.
I don't even think Jericho's ever won it. Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Taker, Roman. Who the hell was the year?
Who was the year?
Well, I'm trying to think back. Like, Roman was like in the final 2, like a good few years in a row. I'm just trying to think back on those guys. Naka.
Yep, you've got 4 now.
This is absolutely terrible listening.
I know.
Nah. No, he's not. Nah, I'm going to give up. I can't even think to go through them all now.
Well, 4's still acceptable. I would have accepted James Duggan, because Jim Duggan is in his name. I would have accepted Batista. Missing the letter U in there, but there you go. There's also Bret Hart, joint winner with Lex Luger. That's not his real name. Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon.
How the hell am I forgetting Bret?
I know.
It just shows you, like, on the spot, I'm terrible.
Do you know, I've got absolutely no memory of Brock Lesnar winning the Rumble. I can't visualise it in my head or anything.
That must have been the year that he challenged Goldberg. Or was him and Goldberg in WrestleMania? I don't even know.
It was.
I don't remember that either.
It was a year he challenged Kurt Angle.
I just vaguely remember it now. Like, see the 2 subjects that I should know, like, right off the tip of my tongue, not even have to think about it, it should be Brett in a hardcore title. Anyway, let's move on.
Number 6 for 2 points. Who were the last two in 2015's Rumble and the first two in 2016's?
So it's the same two people.
Mm-hmm.
2016. Roman and Rusev.
Correct. 2 points. Which former WWE, WWECW and WCW World Champion did Chris Benoit eliminate in the 2004 Royal Rumble?
WWE, WWE, ECW,
Mm-hmm.
and what was the other one?
The WCW.
WWE, won the WWE title and the ECW one, there's not. I think it was a WCW. RVD?
No.
My first one was going to be Sabu, but then...
It's too early.
But I think who the hell held the ECW versions of both titles along the WWE one?
I might be wrong. No, I can't be wrong. Hold on, I'll double check. Look at that face, man. What a terrible face for your Wikipedia page. That's brutal.
So, is it true?
Hold on a minute. Do you want a clue for this one?
No, because I should be able to, like, by process of elimination.
This fella has actually won the WWF and WWE Championship. I forgot about that.
Aye.
You've got no clue, have you?
No, it's the WWE ECW one that's thrown me. Along with the fact that I've won the WWE title one. If I just go process of elimination, look, ex-WCW champ has won the WWE one.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be someone I'm just not even going to be fucking thinking of.
Yep, that's how this goes, aye.
I don't think Rhino. So I'm just going to name them all. Rhino. Couldn't have been Sam. Wasn't Sam.
Remember, I'm talking about the later ECW.
Oh, do you know? Oh, did you say WCW title?
WCW and
Right, me sitting saying things like saying Sandman, Sabu, and all RVD. I thought you meant the old ECW title
right.
as well as the right. Okay, right, WWE, WCW, and WWE ECW.
Yes.
I don't think Big God ever held the WWE ECW one. Nah, I'm giving up.
The Big Show.
See, I wouldn't have got that. I remember him holding that WWE ECW thing because that whole thing was terrible. Remember they put Kurt Angle on that brand right before he left? Like, what the fuck were you doing?
I know, that was just a man who's out of his face on painkillers because he's in pain and you put him in ECW. My. Number 8. Who eliminated Mustafa Ali from the 2019 Royal Rumble?
When did Nia Jax come in? Was she 2020? She was 20, was she?
No.
So it was Nia Jax then?
Correct. Well done. Number 9. What do Asuka and Vince McMahon have in common?
They both won a Royal Rumble.
Yes. How many Rumbles have they been in?
won. 100% record.
100% record in the Rumble. The other one was John Studd. But that would have just confused you probably.
Yeah.
Right, so you got a point for that. Last one, 2-pointer. Name the 2 winners of the Royal Rumble whose full wrestling name starts with the word the.
The?
Aye.
Taker?
Correct. I thought you would struggle with that one.
No, because it's probably one of those ones where, like, has he ever won it? The? Oh, we'll go. The artist known as.
I found that really funny for some reason.
I'm just going to have to go through the years.
You might kick yourself with this one, Ricky.
I'm just going to have to go through the years now.
Well, he's going through the years, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network, where you can find other shows such as One Nation Radio, Keeping It Strong Still, Grown Men Watch This Shit, Great Match Generator, 8-Bit Suplex Wrestling Podcast, All Things Elite and Grave Consequences. Give us a nice review and rating on the podcast app of your choice. You can find those podcasts and columns over at socialsuplex.com, where you can get them sent directly to your email inbox if you press the subscribe button. On the show notes you will see links to pages to donate to our show if you feel we merit some nice money, links to the Pro Wrestling Tees website, where you can get some Pro Wrestling Tees t-shirts with I was doing so well tonight, Social Suplex podcast logos and stuff like that. We are on the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group, and we are at Ricky and Clive on Twitter. I should have done this a while ago, probably, the amount of dead air we've had. The Rock, correct. Finally.
I mean, I says as soon as you started doing it, I was like, I've got it. Then you continued going.
I know, I didn't want to ruin my flow.
Well, that was inevitable, you always ruin it yourself.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks very much for that.
Not a problem. I'm surprised you're not about to mention something that's going to happen as a retaliation there to me, but I appreciate you haven't.
Well,
you'll probably just tweet it out.
Aye, probably. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12, 13, 16.
That's alright.
16 points out of 25. That is acceptable.
That's all it is, just acceptable.
The dead air is not acceptable.
No, but I think people realise that now.
Aye, they play along as well.
Is, exactly, and they're probably screaming, yeah, fucking idiots, it's this, just screaming the answers at us.
Anything what?
Sorry, what you want to say?
You finish your words.
No, I thought you were going to say anything else you want to say.
I was.
Yes, I have one final thing I want to say, one final plea. And this goes out to you, Vince McMahon.
You need to at him.
Yep, I will at him later on. Please do not take the title off Drew. Don't even put it on Miz. I don't want to fucking see Miz walking out with the title. I want to see an actual good wrestler holding that belt. Please, please, please do not take the title off Drew. And if you can you please throw some of that £1 billion you're about to get towards Jay White so it keeps my friend Rance happy.
Rance is going to burst a few blood vessels if Jay White isn't in that Rumble.
And if he is, he's still going to.
I know. Might burst something else though.
That's it. No, just please keep the title on Drew. I will take like a unsatisfactory and shitty Royal Rumble winner if it means Drew keeps the title.
I'll take
Because I have faith in Roman or Drew to pull a good match out of the person they're going to be facing, hopefully.
That's a good point. I'd rather... I know I was trying to put every cloud has a silver lining type column out with Goldberg winning, but at the end of that column I did say, if Goldberg wins this, then furniture in the house is done for.
Don't do it, Vince. Do not do it. Don't you dare.
I've got one thing to add. I've been watching 205 Live recently.
Alright. They're getting 205 Clive back?
No chance. But the Dusty Classic's been on there the last couple of weeks, so the Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa had a lovely match with Tony Nese and Rhea Daivari last week. Right, enjoyed it. It was a continuation of Ciampa's bad knee after the fight pit match, which it's a stipulation that's not for me. Just
the fight pit,
and it should be because I like that grinding, grappling, gritty wrestling. It just doesn't do anything for me.
I like Thatcher.
I like what they were doing on 205 Live. Right, that's us. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. No other special announcements to make. So thank you for listening and good night.
Please keep your title on, Drew.
He's not even going to ask the viewers to take care. He just doesn't care about them anymore. That's good. In fact,
I do. Take care, folks. But I care more about Drew keeping the title.
Is this the last ever time we might hear from you?
No, but I'll be on next week, just to either have the veins popping and behaving like most of the people on the internet behave when it doesn't go their way. I look forward to that.
Aye, that'll be good fun.
That will be good fun. You may as well just sit back and just do the edit and record and just let me rant and rave.
I will.
Or it'll just be an hour and a half of me just sitting here crying.
I'll add in some heartbreaking music over the top of it. Like the version of Mad World that guy won the Christmas #1 with that time.
Yep. Or just have Goldberg's music in that or Vince's. Don't do it, Vince. Don't you dare do it.
Right. That's
anyway,
it.
Take care, folks.
Night.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.